Have you ever witnessed something so twisted, so unreal, that your brain fights to believe it actually happened? That's exactly how it went down one scorched afternoon in the parking lot outside a community health center. It all started with a woman, tight curls, an old green field jacket clinging to her shoulders, and skin the color of roasted chestnuts. That was enough. Enough for a squad car to swerve in and box her in. Enough for two officers to rush her, guns out like she was holding a bomb instead of a bottle of water. She didn't scream, didn't run, just froze, hands halfway raised, while one of them barked at her like she was already guilty. The taller one, helmet-cut hair and a scar under his eye, ordered her down, on her knees, in the middle of the sunburned pavement. Why? Because her jacket had patches. Because she stood tall. Because she didn't look like who they expected to wear a uniform. He didn't blink, just leaned in, aimed his weapon point blank, and pulled the trigger. Her body folded. Blood spilled onto the symbol on her sleeve. The words from the officer? Threat neutralized. Like she was a target in a drill, not a human being. But here's what they missed. She wasn't just anyone. Her name was Jalen Maris, a covert tier specialist with signal clearance so high her ID pinged satellites. The second the shot rang out, a secure line went live. Chain reaction. System override. Let's rewind a bit. Earlier that day, Captain Darius Vale walked out of the Hillcrest Veterans Center, his daughter in one hand, a bag of meds in the other. His uniform bore age, cracked insignia, boots dulled from use. But he wore it like armor. His daughter clutched her stuffed wolf tight, her other hand swinging a nearly empty juice pouch. It was the kind of day where the air bends off the asphalt. No clouds, no breeze, just silence and sunburn. They were steps from their car when a black and white interceptor screeched into their lane. Two officers leapt out. "Freeze!" one shouted, hand already hovering near his holster. Darius shielded his daughter instinctively. "What's going on?" "ID says you're military," the other sneered. "That uniform looks fresh out of a Halloween bin." "I'm a captain. Army. ID in my jacket." "Yeah? Let's verify another way," the taller one said. "Kneel. Hands up. I'm holding my daughter. Put her down. Now." "I'm not kneeling in front of my child because you feel uncomfortable. You impersonating, or are you just that confident?" The shorter one snapped. His daughter whispered, "Daddy, what's happening?" Darius never took his eyes off them. "They're confused, baby. That's all." The taller officer stepped forward. "You're refusing? That's resisting." "I'm refusing to kneel." "I'm not resisting anything." From across the lot, a nurse on break began recording. "He's with his kid. He just came out of the clinic." "Mind your business," one of the officers barked. Darius remained unmoved. "I served 3 tours. If you need to verify that, ask inside." The child clutched her small pendant. A coin her mom gave her before deployment, and held it up. "Mom said only real soldiers get to wear this." They ignored her. "Take her inside," one cop said to the other. "No," Darius said. "She stays with me." Then a silence, deep enough to swallow the moment whole. That's what happened. From the edge of the lot, a third figure appeared. A woman, jacket zipped halfway. Same curls, same calm, but not invisible anymore. She stepped forward slowly. "Is this how you treat veterans now?" "Back off," came the warning. She didn't get the chance to reply. No raised hands, no sudden moves, just a gunshot. She collapsed forward, arms instinctively around the child she had stepped to protect. Blood soaked her front. The little girl pressed her face into the warm fabric, whispering into a pink phone. "Uncle Ray, they shot her." The officers stood frozen. One of them muttered, "Target down." A maintenance worker began filming. Others followed. None of them could stop what had already broken. What the officers didn't realize was that Jalen Maris wasn't off the grid. She was the grid. Clearance level, Iridium. Protocol, Emberfall. Within 60 seconds, the ripple hit Joint Command at Ravenhall Base. Unauthorized engagement. Civilian and military casualty. Omega-level incident. The base flipped into lockdown. Orders shot down like lightning. Comms scrambled. City feeds shut down. Every camera in a 10-block radius went black. Then, a matte gray van with no plates pulled into the lot. Out stepped a soldier in blackout gear. Wordless. efficient. He picked up the girl and vanished. No protest, just the silence of superior authority. The cop who fired opened his mouth, closed it again. There was nothing left to say. Hours later, a single clip went viral. The image of a woman in service fatigues, lying still, cradling a child. No edits, no commentary, just proof. Insignias, medals, blood, and silence. Veterans everywhere recognized the mark on her shoulder. Not just anyone wore that. You didn't even speak about it unless you wanted trouble. Now the trouble had come. There were no press conferences, no spin doctors, just a memo leaked by a whistleblower. Any unjustified use of force against an identified service member would now authorize immediate self-defense, without command approval. At the National Archives, her stained jacket was sealed behind glass. No nameplate, just a line etched in metal, betrayed in uniform. Years passed. Her daughter, now named Aria in 11, stood before a federal review board. Her small hands clutched the battered ID badge once worn over her mother's heart. My mom carried wounded men across Hell's Capes. Saved lives no one knew were at risk. You don't call that a mistake. So don't call what you did to her a mistake either. A mistake, she said, is putting ketchup in cereal, not shooting someone who never lifted a finger against you. She placed the badge on the podium, walked out. Silence. A silence that no one dared interrupt. It wasn't just a call for justice. It was a call for memory, for truth. And so I ask you, in your town, your city, your heart, does honor still mean anything? Or is it just a symbol we pretend to care about? Because when a country lets its protectors bleed in daylight without consequence, it's not just justice on trial. It's all of us. So now what? We've seen what happens when power acts without accountability, when a uniform becomes a target instead of a shield. We watched a child cradle her mother in a puddle of silence, not because she didn't know how to cry, but because she understood something deeper. Tears couldn't fix what the system broke. This wasn't just about one moment in a parking lot. This was a mirror, cracked, uncomfortable, showing us how easy it is to question someone's worth when they don't fit the mold. When service is doubted because of skin color. When courage is erased by assumption. When justice arrives too late to save the person it's meant to protect. Aria's voice didn't echo because it was loud. It echoed because it was undeniable. And in that quiet conviction, we saw the real indictment. Not a few bad actors, but of a culture that looked the other way. That let protocol speak louder than people. That called bravery a mistake when it didn't come in the packaging it expected. Her mother wore a patch the nation asked her to earn. And when the bullets came, it didn't save her. But her story still could. It's easy to say never again. It's harder to ask. Why still now? We have to do better. Not for the headlines. Not for damage control. But because the truth, the real kind, doesn't fade with time. It sits in silence, waiting to be reckoned with. Honor can't be something we only offer when it's convenient. It can't be a flag we wave when we're proud and fold away when we're scared. If it means anything, it has to mean everything, especially when it's hard. So, remember her name even if the plaque didn't print it. Remember the blood-stained jacket, the crumpled juice box, the child with her mother's courage. And ask yourself, not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Where do you stand when justice isn't easy? Who do you protect when no one's watching? And what will you do the next time someone in uniform needs you to speak, not look away? Because silence? That's the easiest form of betrayal. And this time, it's already cost too much. Names fade, uniforms wear out. But truth, real, unfiltered, undeniable truth, doesn't disappear. It waits. It haunts. It demands. And one day it comes collecting, not for revenge, but for reckoning, for memory, for change. That day is here. And silence? That's no longer an option. Speak up. Stand firm. Because justice doesn't survive on its own.